Hi and welcome. So on this one we are going to be looking at Java beginner level exercises. Let's go get started immediately. So I have about 5 different exercises to work on and we'll be taking them one after the other. But before we do that, let me quickly go and set up my NetBeans and then let's get started. So this is usually the start page you'll always get. And then let me go ahead and create a new project. So it's going to be a Java application. Click on next, and then for the name of the project I would call it let's say solution, and just go with that. You can use any name of your choice, and we should have everything set up for us. Let me just test run this and see if everything works fine. Okay, so we have build success, hello world, everything is working fine. Now we have our environment set up and then ready for us to start writing our program. Let's go with the first exercise here. Now the first one says write a program to convert 23 kilometers to miles and then 17 miles to kilometers. And they said you should note that 1 mile is equal to 1.609 kilometers. And then 1 kilometer is equal to 0.621 miles. So it means if you have 1 kilometer, it is going to be 0.621 miles. And if you have 23 kilometers, it means you would be multiplying 23 by 0.621 to get your answer. So let's go and implement that. Now back here, I would prefer to use a float because there are some very small errors that can come up with you having your answers but not getting the actual value you need. So we would go with float so that we can be at the safer hands. So 23.0, the 0 would still not change anything. We need to put an F here because it is a float. Now what are we storing it into? We need to give it a variable name. So let's say km underscore value, that is the kilometer value, is equal to 23, like this. Then let's also say should we say float, and then let's see new miles value is equal to, we are going to multiply whatever we have in the kilometer value by what we have in the formula, which is 0.621. Okay, 0.621. So we are going to multiply everything here by 0. And then we have our 621. Now remember, the 621 is a float, so we have to add F here, then we close. Then we can now go ahead and say, okay, system dot out dot print. I would prefer to use the print ln, though even the print will still work fine. And let's see 23 km in miles is, then you put your plus here, your plus, and then you put your new underscore miles value. That is whatever you are able to get here, new miles value, which is going to be this multiply by your km value. So you're going to multiply your kilometer value by 0.621 to get your new values in miles. Okay, so this will give us the answer for 23 kilometers in miles. Let's go ahead and run this program real quickly and then see what we get. Run here. So it says the answer here that 23 kilometers in miles is going to be 14.283, right? So we are not yet done with question 1. It also says we should convert 17 miles to kilometers, and then it says that 1 mile is equal to 1.609. So let's go ahead and do that for the value of miles. It seems my screen size is a bit, font size is a bit big, so let's say, okay, float this time around. Mile value is equal to 17, which was given to us, and then I need to add an F here with a 0.0. It won't change anything, but we said it should be float because we want to be in safer hands in case there's any problem that might come up during the multiplication and so on. So let's say float again, that is, this container is going to store a float value, as you can see here. That's why we are telling Java right here. And then let's say float again, new km value, that is kilometer value that we are going to compute from our miles. It's going to be our mile underscore value multiply by 1.609, and the 1.609 is also a float, so we need to add an F here and then a semicolon at the end. Finally, we can use our system .out .println, and then we can say now 17 miles in km is, you put your plus sign, you put your new underscore km underscore value. Now I am using very long variable names. I need something that makes sense. Okay, you can choose to use shorter variable names. You can even choose to use x and y, a or b, anyone you're most comfortable with. So let's run our program and see what we get. And right here we have our answer. It says 17 miles in kilometer is 27 point whatever that is here, okay, while 23 kilometers is going to be this guy that we have right here. So let's be sure that our formula is working very well. Let's grab the number that we have here when we converted 23 kilometers to mile. We have 14 point this. So let's grab this and then try to change it here to see if we are going to get back our 23 kilometers, right? If we don't get that answer, it means there is a problem. Yes, so we have, this is equal to whatever, 22.98, which can be rounded off to 23. So it means our program is working correctly. So that's it for the first exercise, and you don't need to worry about copying this code. I would upload them on my GitHub and then provide the link so that you can download the files directly. Now let's go to the second exercise, which says write a program to convert 22 square meters to square kilometers, and the formula says you should divide your square meters by 1 million to have your square kilometers. So I would go ahead and then grab these guys and get them out because I don't need them for now. I would provide all the code after the video. So let's still use our float to be in safer hands, and I would say SM, that is square meter, is equal to, they said we should convert 22 square meters, 22 here, 0.0 F. Now we always put this F if it is a float that we are trying to create. If it is an int, we don't need to put I. If it is double, we don't need to put D. This is strictly for float. Now they said for us to get our square kilometer, we need to divide whatever we have here by 1 million. So let's say float, and then let me write this in full, square underscore km, that is square kilometer is going to be our square meter, divide by, and then 1 million. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Now let's put our semicolon there, and then finally let's print the answer. System dot out and then dot print. So I'm using print now, not println. It is still going to work fine. Your answer in SKM, that is square kilometer, is, then you put your plus sign and then you write that variable, which is square underscore km, the variable that we have here. You write the same thing here. Don't forget to add your semicolon at the end here. So let's go ahead and run and see what we get. Now we have everything working fine. It says our answer is 2.2e minus 5. That is 2.2 times 10 raised to the power minus 5. Now this 2.2e, which is exponent minus 5, can be represented as 0.00001022, right? So this is the same thing as this. They decided to represent it in standard form. So if you are getting 2.2e minus 5, is the same thing as this guy that you're having right here. That is the same thing as saying 2.2 times 10 raised to the power minus 5, which is the same thing as this one. Now we are done with the second exercise. Let's go to the third one. Let me just scroll this a bit so that you can see the remaining code. It's just this one here. I would provide the code so that you can download them after the video. Now we have the third one. Says write a program to calculate the average marks of two marks, that is 44, and then 51. We should find the average of these two numbers. Now to find the average, you're going to find the sum of those two numbers, divide by the number of entries. So let's say int and then num1, that is the first number, is equal to 44. I'm using integer now. Int num2 is equal to 51. And then now we are sure if we try to divide this, we might get a number that has a decimal place. So I would use a float this time around, float, and then I would say, let's use average here, equal to, you're going to sum this num1 plus num2, and then you're going to divide using this slash by 2. Now this one, num1 is storing 44, num2 is storing 51, and we are telling Python, okay, sum num1 and num2 before you divide. If we don't add this bracket, if you're following both maths, division has precedence over addition. So Java would go ahead and try to divide num2 by this 2 here before doing the addition. But because we want the addition to take place first, we have to use brackets to give this addition precedence over the division. So it is going to add num1 and num2 first, then divide the answer by this. So I need to clean this right up here and then change it to something that suits what we are doing currently. And get out. Then your average is, and then you put your plus, and then you put your average here. That is this variable that you have here. Whatever that is computed here will be stored here, and then you will be able to print it out here. Remember, we have a semicolon at the end of each statement. Now you don't need to bother yourself about these two lines that I added down here. These are comments, so they will not be executed because of these two slash I added. So it's fine. So now we have, it says our average is 47.0. But we know that the average is not supposed to be 47.0. It is supposed to be 47.5. It means there is a problem. Though our program is running fine, but the answer we are getting is not what we need. Okay? That's due to the fact that we are trying to divide integers by integer, so it is going to cut off any decimal place that remains. So we need to say 2.0f here. So by telling it that we want to do a division with a float value, it is going to make sure that the remaining part do not get cut off. And now if you check the answer, we have 47.5, which means our program is working correctly. Alright, so that's the solution for the third, I think, yeah, the third exercise. Let's go quickly to the fourth one and then from there to the fifth one. So the fourth one says we should convert 2549 seconds to hours and minutes. Okay, 2549. So let me grab these guys out, though we would be needing them, but let me just rewrite everything over again. Let's say int seconds is equal to 2549, put your quotes. Then let's say now we need float, because if we try to convert this to minute, we might have decimal places. I'm not sure, but to be at the safer side, let's use float. So float is equal float minute, that is, this is going to be a variable that will store the minutes that we will get. Float min is going to be seconds divide by 60. You know that in every minute there are 60 seconds. So for each of these seconds, we are going to divide the seconds itself by 60 to get the value of our minute. Now to get the value of our hours, or hour, that's if it's up to hours. Let's say hours is going to be equal to, now we would still divide this minute again by 60, and that would give us our value. So min slash 60 here. Now we might have a little problem, but let's go ahead and see what we are going to get. System.out.println, and then your answer in means, that is for minute, it's going to be plus, then you put your minute here. Remember your semicolon at the end. So we can also say system.out.println, and then let's see your answers in hours, or maybe hour, I don't know if it's up to hours. Then you put your plus and then your hours, which is this one here. Remember your semicolon at the end. So let's go ahead and run and see if we are going to confirm the problem I was to talk about. Okay, now we have the answers, but I am not very comfortable with this 42.0, and then it said this one is also 0.7 hours. Okay, so I think for this one I don't have much of a problem, but that's not the correct answer. There are some decimal places that were cut off, so let's put 0 and then f here to confirm that. So now you can see we are having the decimal places. Initially they were cut off, but now we have them because we added the decimal place to this guy here, so that it knows that we are trying to divide and we need those remainders instead of it truncating them and throwing them away. So that's the solution to the fourth exercise, which is for us to convert this from seconds to minutes and then to hours. Let's quickly go to the fifth, I think, and the last one, which says write a program to calculate the circumference and the area of a cycle. And we were also given the formula for the area, which is pi times radius square, and for the circumference it is 2 pi and then times radius. We're also given the value of radius, which is 7.5. So let me also go ahead and clear out this so that we can write something. So let's say float radius is equal to 7.5. F here and then this. Now I can choose to do it this way. I can just choose to say float radius and then finally say radius equal to 7.5. I can choose to do them differently. I can choose to do them on the same line. So this is still the same thing as the initial thing that we did. So I'm going to maintain the first one. Float radius is equal to this. So we have our radius, and we also know that pi is a constant. So for us to declare a constant, we are going to use phi now, float, and then pi, pi, is equal to 3.142 f because it is a float. Now this final is a way of telling Java that this variable is going to be a constant. Its value is not going to change anywhere in our program. So let's go ahead and find our area equal to, let's check out the formula for area again. They said area is equal to pi times radius square. So area would be this value of pi multiplied by radius. Now radius square is the same thing as saying radius times radius, right? So it's the same thing this way. Now the area is showing us a red line because Java don't know if the area is going to be a float or an int. So we need to use, I would use double here because I am sure the number might have plenty of decimal places, which might not be good. So I would use double here in case if the number grow to be more than 7 decimal places, I would still be in safer hands. And then let's find out the circumference. I would also use double here, circ for circumference. And then they said circumference is 2 multiplied by pi and then multiplied by radius. Now in programming, we use asterisk for multiplication, not this x here. We don't use x here. We use asterisk and we use slash for division. So let's finally go ahead and print out our answer. System.out.println. The ln should be here. And let's make it short. Area equal to, then you have your plus, then you put your area here. Don't forget your semicolon. And then system.out.println circ for circumference is equal to why is this guy appearing here? Circ, which is this variable here. So I think we should be done with this, not forgetting a semicolon. Very, very important. So let's run and see what we are able to get. And finally it says our area is equal to this guy and our circumference is this. Now you can see why I use double, because this decimal places happens to be more than 7, and if we had used float it would have resulted to an error. That's why I use double here, because I was certain the number was going to grow to be more than what we are expecting. So use greater data type when you're not sure of what the answer is going to be, so that you would be at safer hands. So that's all for the exercises. I think the first to the 5th one, and we'll be stopping here. So for the code, I will be dropping the link in the description of this video. You can go download the code from my GitHub link, and then you can be able to test run it. And if you're also having problem making your installations, I have another separate video. You can just check it out on my channel on how to set up your NetBeans and your JDK. I also have another short video on data types, variables and identifiers, of which we have used in this video. Thank you and see you some other time.